I do think he has earned the opportunity because he throws an incredibly good ball, a very catchable ball, and he's just so accurate. His ball placement is excellent. They had us play at the end.
You know when someone says something that just stops you in your tracks? That was me when I heard Nathan Zagura talk about Shedeur Sanders. This wasn't some fan on Twitter hyping up a practice rep. This wasn't a beat writer throwing out empty compliments for clicks. This was Nathan Zagura, the guy who's been the voice of Browns football for years, who has been at every camp, every rep, watching this team cycle through quarterbacks like clockwork, saying Shadur throws an incredibly good ball, a very catchable ball, with excellent ball placement. And then he drops the word perfect. Perfect. Do you know how rare that is? When someone with his credibility, who's watched thousands of passes at training camp, uses words like that, that isn't casual praise. That's a statement. And that's what makes this so different. We've all heard the fluff before. Oh, the rookie looks sharp. He's picking things up quickly. But when Nathan Zagura, a guy who's watched Brady throw, who's seen elite-level talent come through these fields, says Shedeur is putting the ball exactly where it needs to be, that's not filler. That's an insider telling us, this kid has it. And let's be real, Zagura doesn't hand out hype for free. He's seen plenty of camp heroes, guys who light it up in July and vanish by October. He knows the difference between a rookie who looks decent in shorts and one who actually has the tools to play on Sundays. And here he is, basically planting his flag. Shedeur isn't just surviving camp. He's turning heads in a way that veteran coaches can't ignore. But here's what really gets me. The context. This isn't some low-pressure throw in a walkthrough. Nathan pointed to a live period, the end of practice, the hungry dogs reps where everything counts. Play breaks down. Shedeur rolls out, threads a pass across the field to Luke Floria. Perfect placement, right over the defender, only where his receiver could get it. That's not a rookie just trying to survive. That's poise. That's feel. That's a young quarterback already playing with the control of a vet. And now, I can't stop thinking, what does this mean for the Browns? Because this isn't just about a nice throw in camp. This is about a respected voice saying, hey, this guy might be way ahead of schedule. And if that's true, if Shedeur is already operating at this level while buried on the depth chart, then Cleveland isn't just sitting on a fifth-round project. They're sitting on a quarterback who could rewrite this franchise's future. So I've got to ask the question, are the Browns fully aware of what they have here? Or are they about to let politics, pecking orders, and the plan keep a difference-maker buried? Because if Nathan Zagura is seeing what he says he's seeing, this changes everything. If you just glanced at the Browns' quarterback depth chart right now, you'd think the pecking order made perfect sense. Joe Flacco at the top, the steady veteran, Super Bowl MVP, the bridge guy every coaching staff leans on when they don't want chaos. Behind him, Kenny Pickett, a first-round reclamation project, a name with pedigree the front office probably wants to justify bringing in. Then there's Dylan Gabriel, the developmental rookie, the long-term project who can sit quietly at the bottom of the chart while the others battle for meaningful snaps. And finally, Shedeur Sanders, the fifth-rounder, the Coach Prime's son storyline pick, supposedly here just to watch and learn. At first glance, it makes sense, but the second you scratch the surface, it starts looking completely insane. Because if we're actually paying attention to what's happening on that field, not just the names, not just the draft slots, this whole hierarchy starts to crumble. You want to know what Shedeur did the moment he got real work in pads? He went 9 for 9 with 2 touchdowns in his first full padded practice. 0 picks, 0 wasted reps. And this isn't against air. This is against live defenders, under real pressure, at the hungry dogs period where reps actually count. And yet, where is he? Still buried. Still throwing to practice squad guys instead of working with Amari Cooper or David Njoku, still relegated to the third team like none of that matters. And that's the part that makes no sense if this is truly about competition. Because if this were about production, Shedeur would be moving up. If this were about earning reps, he'd already be in those first-team huddles. But it's not, is it? This is the politics of depth chart inertia, the NFL's unspoken rule that veterans get favoritism and rookies wait their turn, no matter how well they play. And it's why Louis Riddick's words ring so true here. You need champions in the building. Players don't climb depth charts on performance alone. They climb because someone inside those closed-door meetings is pounding the table for them. And right now, it doesn't seem like Shedeur has that champion in Berea. So what is this really? Is it cautious development? A team protecting a young quarterback from too much, too soon? Or is it something more sinister? Intentional suppression of a player who's outperforming expectations but doesn't fit the established plan. Because from the outside looking in, it's starting to feel like the latter. But here's the beauty of all this. The preseason is coming. Live snaps, real defenses, the kind of situations where performance speaks louder than politics. And if Shedeur lights it up there like he's been lighting it up in camp, then all the excuses for keeping him buried disappear, and the Browns will have no choice but to answer the question, where does Shadur Sanders really stand? For months now, the critics have been telling one story about Shadur Sanders, that he's just a name, that he's just Coach Prime's son, that he's all flash, all jewelry, all swagger, and no substance. They painted him as a diva before he even stepped on an NFL practice field. But here's the thing. That entire narrative is crumbling. And the person swinging the hammer? Nathan Zagura. Because when you hear what Zagura has witnessed behind the scenes at Browns camp, it's impossible to keep believing the media caricature. Let's start with one moment that tells you everything you need to know about who Shadur really is. Jerome Baker, a veteran linebacker, a guy who's earned his place, is doing his post-practice media availability. Reporters start walking away as soon as Shadur walks out, like they always do for the shiny new rookie QB. And what does Shadur do? He stops. He literally tells the Browns PR team, "I'm not going until they finish with Jerome." Are you kidding me? That's not just good PR. That's respect. That's understanding the hierarchy of an NFL locker room, that veterans come first. And this isn't some little thing. This is a rookie, the son of one of the most famous men in football, choosing humility over headlines. And it doesn't stop there. We found out that when Dayon wanted to visit camp, Shadur told him not to. Think about that for a second. This is Coach Prime, the biggest personality in football, his father, his biggest supporter. And Shadur said no. Why? Because he knew his dad showing up would turn camp into a circus. He knew it would become about Dion instead of the work. That's not just maturity, that's wisdom beyond his years. That's a young man who understands that in the NFL, you earn respect not with your name, but with your grind. And speaking of the grind, let's talk about it. This dude isn't just showing up on time and leaving when practice ends. Reports say Shadur is out there 40 minutes before practice and stays 40 minutes after. While other guys are hitting the locker room, he's still working, still throwing, still studying. He's mastered 98% of the playbook already. 98%. For a rookie quarterback, that's unheard of. That's protections, audibles, situational football. That's preparation like a starter, even while running with the third team. This is not a diva. This is not some kid riding his dad's coattails. This is a grinder, a leader, a quarterback who's quietly winning the locker room one rep at a time. And the more you see it, the clearer it becomes. Shadur isn't just fitting into this culture, he's elevating it. And yet, the question lingers. If this is the kind of man and player the Browns have in their building, why isn't he being treated like it? You know what separates the guys who make it in this league from the guys who don't? It's not just arm strength, it's not just football IQ, it's how you respond when life throws the absolute worst at you. And for Shedeur Sanders, this rookie season hasn't just been about learning a playbook or proving himself in a crowded QB room. It's been about carrying a weight that most of us can't even imagine. While he's out there at Browns camp fighting for every rep, his father, Coach Prime, his mentor, his rock, is battling cancer. And here's the wildest part. At first, Shadur didn't even know. Deion Sanders didn't tell him right away. He wanted his son to focus, to stay locked in on the grind of making an NFL roster. So imagine that. You're in one of the most stressful moments of your career, in an organization that hasn't exactly rolled out the red carpet for you, and behind the scenes, your hero is fighting for his life. Most guys, that would break them. But Shadur, he's using it as fuel. That's what makes this kid different. This isn't just about football anymore. This is about resilience, about grit, about becoming the kind of man and leader who can weather storms far bigger than a depth chart battle. And when I look at how he's handling all this, I see shades of Jalen Hurts. I see Russell Wilson, guys who weren't handed the keys on day one, guys who had to grind, wait, and prove themselves over and over until the opportunity finally came, and then never looked back. And that's exactly what Nathan Zagura was hinting at when he compared Shedur's journey to Baker Mayfield's. Look, whatever you think about Baker, the truth is he went through the fire, criticism, setbacks, being written off, and came out stronger. Sometimes being forced to wait, to develop in the shadows, is the best thing that can happen to a young quarterback. And that's where Shedeur is right now. He's taking this frustrating rookie situation, the limited reps, the public doubt, the owner's disrespect, and turning it into fuel. He's building a foundation, quietly, patiently. And that's why I keep saying this. Shedeur isn't just surviving Cleveland. He's building something bigger, something lasting. He's not just preparing for when his number gets called. He's preparing to make it impossible for the Browns to ever take him off the field once it does. And when that moment comes, everything he's been through, the adversity, the disrespect, the personal battles, will become the reason he succeeds. Because Shadur Sanders isn't just another rookie trying to make a roster. He's becoming the kind of quarterback who can change a franchise. This is where everything comes to a head. This is where excuses run out, where the narratives either crumble or become undeniable. Because here's the thing, if Shadur Sanders keeps performing like this in camp, keeps stacking clean practices, keeps showing the poise and precision that even Nathan Zagura can't stop raving about, and still doesn't get meaningful reps, then Stephen A. Smith's so-called conspiracy theory stops being a theory. It becomes fact. It becomes the ugly truth about how NFL politics really work. And that's when the entire football world has to start asking, what's really going on in Cleveland? Think about it. This isn't just about one rookie quarterback fighting for a spot. This is about culture. This is about an organization that for decades has been more defined by chaos than by winning. This is about a league where sometimes talent takes a backseat to power, to egos, to the unspoken rules that owners and GMs cling to like a safety blanket. If Shedeur can come in, put on a clinic in practice, master 98% of the playbook, gain the respect of veterans in that locker room, and still be treated like an afterthought, then we're not just talking about a quarterback battle. We're talking about a system determined to keep certain players in their place. And yet, here's where it gets exciting. Because you can only hold back a player like Shedeur for so long. Preseason is coming. The lights are about to turn on. And if he performs in live game situations the way he's performing on those practice fields, the Browns won't be able to hide him anymore. We've seen this story before. Russell Wilson in Seattle. Jalen Hurts in Philly. Guys who weren't supposed to start, weren't supposed to challenge the depth chart until they left their coaches no choice. And that's exactly where Shedeur is heading. That's why this moment is so big for Browns fans. Because when Shedeur's number gets called, and it will, that's when the truth comes out. That's when we find out if this kid really is the future of this franchise. And if he is, then Jimmy Haslam's dismissive comments, the draft day slide, the politics, they all get washed away by one undeniable thing: production. So here's my question to the dog pound. Are you ready? Are you ready to rally behind the quarterback your own owner didn't even want? Because, make no mistake, this isn't just about Shedeur Sanders anymore. This is about the soul of the Browns. And if this kid delivers under the lights, we won't just be watching a rookie earn his stripes. We'll be watching the birth of one of the greatest underdog revenge stories in NFL history.